Hey everyone, and welcome to Isms by Josie. Today we're going to be doing another itty bitty knit kit from Five Below. For my returning subscribers, thank you so much for tuning in, and for my new viewers, please consider subscribing, share, hit that like button, leave a comment below, and click on that notification bell for future videos. So today, you guys, we are doing another viewer request. We are doing Mr. Mustache. I guess this is part of the fall collection. I don't know. A random mushroom with a mustache. Okay, so if there's any requests that you would like to make, leave a comment below. If you don't want to wait for me to find the kit itself, you can send me a clear image via email. My information is in this video description or on my about section in my channel. Alright, so this video is a supplement to the kit. If you really want to make these characters, I highly recommend that you check your local Five Below, or maybe go online, they might have it there. Because I won't be showing everything. I'm going to go through new stitches at least 3 times, step by step, and then I'm going to be moving forward at my normal pace. If there's a few things here or there that I need to slow down and show you, I'll do that. If you need to speed up or slow down the video, click on the gear button in the corner somewhere over here. There's playback options to go fast or slow. If you don't need to hear my crackly voice, it is the nighttime, and I've already filmed a couple of videos prior. You can lower the volume on your device and click on the CC closed caption button. Alright, so let's get straight into this. This kit comes with stuffing, knitting needles, plastic needle, felt stickers, and 2 spools of yarn. So I do find that these kits are very nice, actually. They're not as bad as some other kits that I've tried in the past. Here's the instructional booklet. It's filled with a lot of illustrations and written text of how to perform each step that you'll need to complete this project. It also comes with its own built-in ruler in here, so you can use that to measure. You don't have to go off and get some ruler. Here's the little pouch that we'll open in a bit, and then here is the 2 spools of yarn. Alright, so in this pouch we have the knitting needles, we have stuffing, we have the plastic needle, and we have our felt stickers. So we're not going to use this for now, so I'm going to put this in here along with the stuffing. We don't want any debris to get onto that. We won't be using this right now, so we're going to set this pouch aside. Alright. So now what we're going to do, I'm going to check these knitting needles here. Sometimes there's this little extra pieces that they use to inject the plastic in, and sometimes there's little bumps. This could snag your yarn, so you just want to make sure that you can file that down. So take a file and just smooth that out. Okay, you'd rather have this smooth than look pretty, because once it snags your yarn, it's going to be the most annoying thing. So I haven't shown this in other videos yet, but some of these have really bad pieces coming up and I've had it snag. So I'm learning my lesson. Alright, so I'm not going to show these instructions in the video due to copyright protection. But we are going to start learning how to knit. Okay. So we're going to be making 3 rectangles. Let's start with the white. That's strange. I think they did a typo. This is Mr. Mustache, and it said, let's make Lil Acorn. I do have the acorn, but that's going to be a separate video. Alright, so the easiest thing for you to do here is find the end of this spool. I can see it. So I'm going to pull this. This is going to allow you to continuously grab your yarn without having the spool spin. You could grab the outside of the yarn here, but you'll have to remove the band and it's going to roll. So however you like it, you can put a little weight down here. So when you start pulling, you can pull, and I'm pulling this out because I can feel the knot. There's a knot in here, and that's okay that this whole chunk came out because you're going to be using it anyway. Oh, look at this. What is this? Why is there another end here? Oh no. Yeah, so sometimes this will happen. Alright, well, it's a good thing that I'm here to show this, because sometimes when they finish they roll these little spools out of a huge spool, really big. And when that stuff runs out, they usually tie it. They're supposed to tie it together so, you know, it's a continuous one. But this one decided not to tie it together, so you just have to tie it yourself. It's not that big of a deal. The only complicated thing is learning to tie it to where it doesn't come apart in 2 seconds, because I've had that happen to me. So if you do have 2 pieces that aren't tied together, then let me show you how to tie them. You're just gonna take the 2 pieces and tie it like a shoe, like you're tying a shoe, but we're gonna double knot. And you could leave it at that, but when you pull, it's gonna come apart. So then you're gonna take this end and tie it once around this one long piece, and don't pull hard right away because we still have to tie this side. You don't want to pull that. But now once you've tied both sides, then you can start pulling the ends, and hopefully it won't come apart. I'm still trying to figure that out though. Alright, now let's get started. Okay, so this is for righty. What you're going to do is take your ring, pinky, and thumb and hold one end like this very tightly. Then first we have to measure the tail. Ugh, alright, that little knot threw me off. So I'm going to go off camera and measure the tail. If you read the instructions, there's a measurement. So try following that right now while I do the same thing. Okay. So I'm holding it where that measurement is. I've got the tail here. What you want to do is put the tail down off the table, or just down out of your way. You want the feeder yarn up and out of your way. Alright, so keep this very tight. We're going to take our middle finger and ring finger and hold it apart like that. This can be somewhat loose, because what we're going to do is take our 2 fingers here. We're going to lift up and we're going to turn it down to create this loop right here. Then I'm going to take my index and ring and middle finger and just grab the feeder yarn and pull it through that large knot. And to tighten it, we're going to take this top part here and start pushing that knot towards the left thumb. So keep pulling the top here until you get to your thumb, or until the knot is too tight to move down anymore. So if you're short a little bit, that's okay. Just make sure it's not too long, because you want to keep that measurement near the tail, which means less waist the closer it is to your thumb. When you get it to where you can't push it anymore, then take your tail and just pull it a little bit more. There's always just a little bit you can pull to make it nice and snug. Then you can grab the knot by your thumb and index, and we're just going to pull on the feeder yarn to make that loop a little bit more manageable. You want it big enough to fit your needles. Okay, so now that we have that done, let's stick both of your needles in here. Okay, you can tighten it up a little bit if you want, but we're gonna get started. So let's grab some feeder yarn here. You can wrap it around your finger. There's a million other ways to do this, but I just like doing this. I think the booklet shows you how to hold the feeder yarn. Anyway, so this project only uses one stitch, which is the knit stitch, and that's one of the easiest stitches you can do in knitting. So what you want to do is prepare your stitch. So we're going to get into position. What a knit stitch requires is that your needles cross in an X, but you want your right needle in the back, left needle on top. As far as the feeder yarn goes, okay, if it's over here, you just want to turn it to the back. So your feeder yarn should be towards the back. Okay, so now the first thing we have to do is cast on stitches. And this is going to be the same as a knit stitch, just slightly different. So what we're going to do, you're going to take your feeder yarn and we're going to wrap around the right needle. So we're going to go back to forward and down. You're going to feel or hear the needle snap or not. You wanted to get it in this little crevice here. You always want to maintain contact with your needles. You don't want to leave it open like that, because then you can potentially lose whatever it is you're doing. You can lose your stitches. So always maintain contact with your needles. All right. So from here, what we're going to do, we have our feeder yarn in this little crevice. We're going to slide the left needle over and back the right needle. And that's going to push, the point here is going to push the feeder yarn through this loop, creating a new stitch. So just watch. Slide your needle down the right and back, and you can see that the point is actually pushing the feeder yarn through the loop, creating a new stitch. So to cast on stitches, they have to end up on the left needle. So what we're going to do is take our left needle, we're going to put it through that new stitch. You can hold this stitch back with your thumb, but we're going to lift this off and remove it off the right needle and transfer it onto the left. So we have 2 stitches here now. Okay, so let's do this again. Stick your needle into the new stitch here. We're going to get into knit position. So right needle in the back, left needle in the front, feeder yarn towards the back. So we're going to wrap around the right needle. So go back to front, and you're going to feel or hear snap down. Then we're going to slide the left needle down the right and then down the back. And it's going to push the feeder yarn through that loop, creating a new stitch. So now we have to transfer this stitch onto the left needle. So stick your left needle into that new stitch and lift it off the right needle onto the left. So now you have 3 stitches. Let's do this one more time, you guys. So stick your needle into the new stitch, get into your knit stitch position, right needle in the back, left needle in front, feeder yarn in the back. We're going to wrap it around the right needle, back to front and down. You're going to hear or feel it snap. Made a snap that time. Then we're going to slide the left down the right and then down the back, and that's going to push the feeder yarn through the loop, creating a new stitch. So now we just have to transfer the stitch on the right side over to the left. So stick your needle onto that new stitch, lift it up off the right needle. So now we have 4 stitches. So you can rewind this over and over again until you get all the stitches required, or until you feel comfortable to do this on your own. but I'm going to continue with the remaining stitches, and then we'll move on to the next part. So guys, I wanted to take this opportunity to share my special NFL giveaway on my original channel. It used to be nails, but somehow it evolved to crafts, and I'm running this pilot channel to eventually split off both crochet and nails on their separate channels. So currently I am holding a special NFL giveaway. It's an 18-week giveaway, and we are in week 6. I'll leave the link for that channel in the description box below. You can, you have to be publicly subscribed to that channel. I post an NFL video every Tuesday, and the voting is open from Tuesday to the end of Wednesday Eastern Time. And you have to vote on the 2 teams that I show on whether or not they're going to win or lose. So you have a 50-50 chance of winning. So whoever makes the most correct guesses will win. There'll be 2 winners, 1 nail winner and 1 craft winner. If there is a tie, I will leave the names in a spinning wheel, and we'll pick a name from random. The winners will be receiving goodies depending on what they like, whether it's nails or crochet or knitting. And then they'll also get a gift card, as well as a 1-hour stream yard one-on-one session. You can have something like this. Use your phone, you place it on your workstation, and you can show me a project that you're stuck on that you need help, or if you really just want to learn how to knit, how to crochet, we'll work on an hour with that, and it's redeemable indefinitely until this channel is no more, or myself. So you don't have to use it right away. If you have a channel, or at least thinking about doing a channel, you can pick my brain and ask any questions that you would need to help with your channel. I can also do that if you don't really need any help. Alright, so I will close the voting Thursday morning. It'll say closed on there so that you know you cannot vote anymore. And then after the game plays, I will post the standings, so you'll see your progression down a football field, and you'll get to see where you're at with everyone else. So again, it's only week 3, so there's plenty of time to jump ahead and potentially win. Alright, so first let me fix this focus. It's really bothering me. Let me see if I can fix it. Alright, hopefully that works. Okay, so now we're going to do a row. And a row is pretty much the same as doing what we just did. It's just a slight difference. So let's stick our needle into this first stitch here. Now the idea of doing rows is whatever number of stitches you have on this side, for this specific project only, you're going to end up with the same number of stitches on the right needle. So take your count of how many stitches are on the left. When you're done with the row, you should have the same number of stitches on the right. Okay, so we have our needle in the knitting position. We're going to knit 1, so back to forward around the right needle and down. You're going to feel it snap. Then we're going to slide the left needle down the right and then down the back, forcing the feeder yarn through that loop, creating a new stitch. So like I said, whatever is the count of stitches on the left, we're just transferring to the right. So since we added 1 stitch here, we have to lose a stitch here. So carefully slide off this stitch off the left needle. Make sure these other ones don't slip off. So just like that. So we gained a stitch here, we're going to lose a stitch here. So let's do this again. Stick your right needle into the next stitch, get into your knit position. We're going to go back to forward and down. You're going to hear or feel it snap. Then we're going to slide the left needle down the right needle and then down the back, forcing the feeder yarn through the loop, creating a new stitch. Okay, so since we created one here, we're going to lose one here. So carefully push off that stitch off the left needle, and now we have 2 stitches. Okay, let's do this one more time with you guys. Stick your right needle into the next stitch, get into your knit position. We're going to go back to forward around the right needle and down. You're going to hear or feel it snap. Then we're going to slide our left needle down the right and then down the back, pushing the feeder yarn through the loop, creating a new stitch. And then we're going to slip this stitch off the left needle. So now we have 3 stitches, you guys. So 3 stitches added here, 3 stitches removed here. All right, now just continue this down the line. You can rewind this part here if you'd like, but I'm going to move forward and do the rest of the stitches. All right, so this is a great way to practice over and over again just to get the hang of it. But this is, like I said, the only stitch that this project uses. So once you get the knit stitch down, you can pretty much do the whole project. If you want, you could end up doing a scarf or a pot holder or something small to practice on, just doing the exact same thing we're doing here. Obviously, if you want it longer, you can add more stitches. Oh, okay. So I finished the row. My left needle no longer has any stitches. My right needle has all the stitches. The same number that was on here should be the same number that's here. So now what we have to do is the next row, and it's pretty much the same thing. So how do we do that? You're going to take your left needle, just push it over to your right side. We don't need that right now. Then we're going to take our right needle and we're just going to flip it over. And this is going to become our left needle now. Now there's a few tips that you need to remember. So currently I have this kind of spiraling. You don't want that. You want to make sure that your project grows downward towards your tail. Okay. To do that, you're just going to make sure that you unspiral this and just make sure that the bottom line is all in a row. You don't want it twisting, so don't twist it. You can always reassemble these stitches after you finish a row to make sure that it's out of your way and going in the right direction. Okay, also, what you don't want to do, which I've done in the past a lot, and then it turns out to look like a skirt. So when you hold your feeder yarn at the end, don't hold it up and back. Okay, because I know we're supposed to keep it back for knit stitches, but don't go up and back, because look what's happening. So if we have everything down in a row, got this straight line, and it's 1 stitch here. If you don't pay attention and you accidentally hold it up and back, you can see that it wants to twist up, but also it looks like it's adding an extra stitch like that, and that's wrong. So you always want to make sure your feeder yarn, if you do want to get it towards the back, it's always down and back. So that way it's the true 1 stitch and not the 2 that you saw earlier. All right. So now we can start the next row. Let me show you how to do that. It's pretty much the same thing that we did with the last row, except this time we turned it, and now we're going to do the row. So stick your needle into the first stitch here, and we're going to do our knit stitch. So since we've already done this a number of times, you should be comfortable with doing that. And we're just going to do this down the row. So like I said, it's the same stitch over and over again. And these few rows, you might be going very slow, and that's all right. But either by the next project or at least towards the end of this one, you're going to be able to flow with the stitches. And of course it's not going to be as fast as me from the get-go, but I used to try doing this as fast as I can while watching a movie, because after a while it becomes so automatic that you don't really need to look at it. Alright, so I finished this row here. I'm going to do my flip again. Put this left needle towards the right. I'm going to take the right needle and flip it towards the left. Make sure that your feeder yarn is down and back. And it looks a little sloppy right now, but we're going to straighten this out. You want to straighten it out before you start a row every time. Alright, so now that we're here, I'm just going to gather up some yarn and we're going to complete the rest of this. In the instruction, it gives you a measurement and an approximate number of rows to build. That approximate number of rows is always, it's not concrete. What you want to make sure is it measures the inches, the amount of inches that it says. Because as a beginner, your stitches are not all going to be uniform. There's going to be some variation in between one knitter to another knitter. Your stitches might be different. So as long as you measure the amount that it says at the end of it, when we sew everything together, your project will all, or should all, look the same size, if that makes any sense. But now I'm going to go and I'm going to finish this rectangle in silence. Alright, so I made this as long as it's supposed to be. We just have to cast off our stitches. I was a little worried because I don't have that much left and we have to do one more rectangle with this color. So anyway, let me show you how to cast off. So go ahead by doing 2 knit stitches. Once you have 2 knit stitches here, we're going to leapfrog this stitch over the next one, and we're going to remove it off the right needle. So take your left needle, stick it through this first stitch here. We're going to leapfrog it over the next one. You can use your thumb to hold it down while we pull this off the right needle, and then we're going to pull it off the left needle. So you have 1 stitch left on the right needle. You always need 2 stitches to do this leapfrog thing, of course. So let's knit another stitch. Once you've knitted another stitch, you can stick your left needle into this stitch now, and we're going to leapfrog this over this one. Hold it down with your thumb here, and you can remove this off the right needle and then off the left needle. Let's do this one more time, you guys. So do another knit stitch so that you end up with 2 stitches on the right needle. We're going to pick up this stitch here with the left needle, leapfrog it over the next stitch, hold it down with your thumb. We're going to remove this stitch off the right needle and off the left needle. So you just continue this down all the way down till you remove all the stitches off the left needle. You should be left with one more. We're gonna, one last one here. We're gonna come back in and I'm gonna show you how to finish that one off. But for now, I'm gonna go continue all the way down with this leapfrog thing. Okay, now that we removed all the stitches off the left needle, we have that one left on the right. What you're going to do is cut about 1 inch or so off this feeder yarn. Then what we're going to do, you're going to yarn over the right needle, and then we're going to leapfrog this stitch over the yarn over and off the right needle, off the left needle, and then we're going to pull this right needle all the way out, and then we're going to pull this end piece here to tighten up that stitch, and then we're finished with our first rectangle. Now for time purposes of the video, I'm going to complete the next 2 rectangles off camera. To start it off, it's the same way that we started this one off, so you can rewind the video back there, but just make sure that you measure the tail first and that you do the cast off. So I will be back with the other pieces in a bit. Alright, I have finished my pieces. And here are the rectangles. I actually ran out of white, so this is probably half of what it's supposed to be, a little bit more than half than what it's supposed to be, but I'm gonna work with it. Comment below, let me know if you ran out of yarn as well. But now what we're gonna do, I've got my plastic needle here. We are gonna start sewing these pieces together. So thread up your needle. Right, we're gonna fold this in half. I don't think we have to, yeah, we do. All right, so you want to put the wrong side on the outside and the nicer side, which is this side, on the inside. For you to tell, for you to tell the difference between the two, I put the knot. For me, I put the knot that I tied to the wrong side, but also you'll see at the edge here, there's a little line. That's how I would know. You might have the same line as well. If you flip this to the other side, it's practically, you know, nice and almost perfect. So fold this together. And we're going to sew down this way and across. So just line up your stalk piece, and we're going to do stitches. We're going to do straight stitches. So straight stitches is going in and out of the side here. Let's just do it this way. And then we're going to sew across. Okay, we're going to leave the top for stuffing. And then we're going to turn it inside out. So let's see here. Let me tie a knot, because I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen next. So I just at least want to secure this spot here. Alright, so now let's turn this inside out. And then we're going to put the stuffing. Hopefully it's enough stuffing. The last one we did not have enough stuffing. And let me just read ahead. Alright, so the crazy thing is that we need stuffing left for the cap. So, I'm not exactly sure how much we're gonna need. So if this is the cap, you know, but let's start small here. Let's kind of pre-shape this into a cylinder. And we're gonna start putting this down into the stock. Then you can kind of massage this down there. If you need more, then get some more of this and put it in the stock. Okay, I want to remove this needle for now because we're going to sew the cap together. Again, we're going to put the nicer side inside. So again, if you can see here, it's a little line going across. That's going to be the wrong side. This side is a lot better. So fold it in half. And we are going to, I guess, sew a little arch here. Alright. And I'm going to use my straight stitches. So we're pretty much making an imaginary line like this. And we're going to straight sew that arch. I'm just going to go down. I didn't really like that placement, but we're going to do the other side of this cap. Okay. Now we're going to turn the cap inside out. All right. And then let's tie a knot. We're going to use the white off of this, or maybe not actually. Let me see. Yeah, we're just going to use this because we have to sew the cap onto the stock, and I don't think I'm going to have enough white, and I don't have any more white as it is. So I'm going to use the white from here, and I'm going to use the red to attach the white onto the cap. So we have to line the long white rectangle around the bottom edge of this cap, and then we have to sew it together. So let's hope for the best. Let's use a nice side, or maybe a fluffy side, because a mushroom has a little, like, if you look at the underside of a cap of a mushroom, there's this frilly stuff. So if we put this nice smooth part, it's not going to really be that, but if we put this fluffy part, that might look like it. So let's do it that way. But we're going to sew this together anyway. Ugh, I wish this was wider. Alright, so all that babbling probably didn't make any sense. Alright. Okay. So I'm gonna tie my knot inside here. And then stuff the excess in there. Then I'm going to thread up this side. And I'm going to sew the ends together. Alright, then I'm going to take the remaining stuffing and put this in the cap. Now actually, I think that amount is pretty good. I guess I can put a little bit more. But now we're going to take this, and I forgot how many stitches are in here. Okay. Since I'm not using this, I'm going to stuff this inside. Actually, let me take half of this. Stuff the rest. Alright. So now we just have to attach these two pieces together. Alright, once we've gone all the way around, find a spot to tie your knot. Then we're going to go in one end and randomly out the other. Pull it all the way. I'm going to cut this just at the surface. You can squeeze the stalk to kind of make that disappear. I don't know how this got here. Stuff that back in. Not, you can trim it. But now I'm just going to take my cap here and try to form this. Okay. I guess if you wanted this to stay, because I'm really pulling this down. The way that the photo shows, it's got a really short stump and we've got a long thing here. Which is crazy. Anyway, so I'm going to just fold this down. I am going to take this and I'm just going to sew it in place in a couple of spots. So if you're having the same problem I am, there's nothing wrong with doing this. Tie a knot twice. I'm just gonna cut it off. I don't know. Then I'm gonna do the same thing to the other side. Tie a knot. I'm going to do it to 4 sides just so that I have it nice and secure. And one more side. Okay, now that we have that secure, it's looking more like a mushroom. Now we get to put the face on. So let's first find a good side. It's not going to be the one with the seam. So maybe this is it. Right here. Pull the face off. And these felt stickers are very sticky. Oh my gosh, look at this. So you want to situate this in the right spot here. And we're going to press and hold for a few seconds. We want to make sure that every sticky part of this felt sticker is touching as much of the mushroom as possible to secure a hold. You can go in with maybe some gray thread or embroidery floss and sew around the sticker to ensure that it stays on there. I'm not going to do that. Now, you're supposed to put some white pieces, but I have no more white yarn, so this is just gonna be a basic mushroom. But anyway, comment below, let me know how it went. This is it, you guys. So cute. Mr. Mustache. Alright. So, after this one, I am going to be doing the marshmallow. That was actually sent to me via email. Again, if there's any requests that you would like to have or see, comment below those requests. If you don't want to wait for me to find the kit, go ahead and send me a clear image and email it to me. My contact info is in the description box as well as my about section on my channel. One more time, I wanted to let you guys know that on my original channel, I am hosting a special giveaway, so you do have a chance to win. In the description box as well, I have the link to my original channel, as well as some of the rules. I post the videos every Tuesday, so go check that out. It's an NFL special giveaway, so look for the football ones. At any rate, thank you guys so much for watching. This is Isms by Josie. Please share, like, and subscribe for future videos, and I'll see you again next time. Thanks. Bye.